Hi folks, Martin Butler here. There's a new kid on the block. It's the Galaxy 16x20 Auto Slide. Let's take a look at it and give it a review. Right, well, as you know, I operate my business from home, as I've done here for the past 10 years, printing our t-shirts, and I've been using a Stahl Hotronix for the majority of that period. I started off with a cheap unbranded press, and I nearly didn't go into the t-shirt business because it was the press that let me down. So yeah, I had to get an industry standard one, and that was the one I've been using, as I showed you before, our Stahl Hotronix, which has been an old faithful quality press for the last sort of 10 years. I was contacted a few weeks ago by Subly Blanks, and I'd done a couple of tutorials on that one, and I'd done a review on the Galaxy, and it actually performed fantastically compared to the benchmark heat press which I was using, which was the Stahl Hotronix. The one we tested was the basic Galaxy 15x15, and I was so pleased with it, so they contacted me again and asked me if I would be interested in their bigger press, which was the 16x20 Auto Slide. Now, we are used to an auto open clam press, as our one here was our Stahl Hotronix. So we thought we'd give it a go, and we'll again show you this press now in a lot further detail. Now this one's not quite on the market yet. It's due to be hitting the market very shortly at the time of this video being made. So you're getting a sneak preview of the bigger brother of the Galaxy 15x15. So let's have a closer look around this now. Let's just see what improvements they've made and if this press would be for you and if it can compete with the bigger presses on the market. Let's have a look. Right, well, on the face of it, you can see the familiar colour scheme of the Galaxy heat presses in this lovely lime green colour, and it's actually the same chassis, but it's been improved. Now, as you know, as I mentioned in the last one, the other Galaxy had a laser cut handle mechanism, which was the reason for this. This means it's all one piece and there's no welds on this, so there's no fear of it actually breaking at the welds, which has happened to many of people when they've bought cheap presses. So this hasn't got that problem, and they've taken that one step further than over the 15x15 range, and by actually incorporating the same technology on the rest of the frames, there's no welds at all whatsoever to actually break. So that is another step up from the 15x50 Galaxy. And as you can see by the logo which we've got on the front here, a lovely stamped graphic there denoting the Galaxy press, so that you actually do know, if you didn't know already, that you are pressing with a Galaxy. Now this one benefits from the same control panel. We've got the on and off switch at the back, and there's also a circuit protection fuse at the back as well. So I'll just turn the press on now, and you'll see exactly the same display as on the 15x15. So it's a nice simple to work unit. So I'm just going to let this warm up now, and we're quickly just going to set the temperature now, and I'm going to do that by touching the set button, and it says set temperature. We're up to 190 degrees. Well, I'm not going to be setting at 190 degrees. I want to take that down to 160 degrees because we're going to be just printing some clothing vinyl. So I'm going to drop that down to 160 degrees. And then you press the set button again, and then it says set the time. Well, we're going to be pressing for 20 seconds, so we're going to leave that at that. And then you just press the set button one more time, and it takes you back to, when you see the flashing set stop, then the press will carry on heating up. One thing just to note here, if you did actually leave it in where this either the set temp mode where it's flashing, your press actually wouldn't heat up. So you've got to press it again, and until you see the figure come up and it's solid, then you know that your press will actually heat up to temperature. Now, just like the Galaxy 15x15, you won't see any rise in temperature. The timer starts off at 70 degrees. So once you get above 70 degrees, you'll then start seeing the registration on the actual display. So one benefit for us is that this has got the actual 16x20 heat lantern, and it actually benefits the pull-out tray, as you can see there. That allows you to lay on your garments, and what's beneficial to this is that, especially if you're pressing with t-shirt transfers for dark t-shirts, they're very, very thin, and you actually have to lay them on the garment without any backing sheet or whatever. So if you apply them as per normal under the heat press, if you're doing it this way, then they can actually curl up with irradiated heat from the heat press. Either that, or you have to do it separately and then ease them onto there. But with this, you just pull the tray out and you can actually line the garments up away from the heat source, and then just push it back in, and that works perfectly. So we've never experienced one of these before. This is a first for us, so we're very happy with this addition. And as I said to you, the one we have before is the Stahl Hotronix, and this is one of the benchmark presses, which is a popular press, and it has been for the last sort of 10 years. And if I can just show you with this, as I say, this is a quick, I'm not going to warm this up to temperature. I'll just turn it on, because what I want to show you is that when it goes to temperature, I just want to leave this because I want to show you the popping up action of this, and what happens if you're not standing here ready, what happens at the end when it just pops up. And it really does go with a jump if you don't bolt these units down. So let me just show you that. Now, as you can see there, that's quite a vicious jump. So realistically, you should be bolting these things down. There's no sort of damping mechanism in this, even though it's a high quality top end press. Now, I'll quickly just show you the same thing with this Galaxy auto slide press, and let's show you exactly the same thing. Now again, clips down, it's held down by the electromagnet which is situated here. The timer's counting down just as with the other one, and if you remember with the Stahl Hotronix how vicious that was popping up, let's just see what this thing does in exactly the same situation. How about that? No vicious jumping at all. No worries about this jumping off the table if you haven't got it bolted down. So that is a fantastic addition over the Stahl Hotronix. And the reason why we've got that lovely action is because you've got these two lovely pistons either side, and they provide the damping action to stop that banging up and causing damage. So one other thing to quickly notice as well, which again the Stahl Hotronix hasn't got, once you clamp down and you realise, oh, you might have made the wrong setting, all you have to do is press the quick release button and the unit pulls up without ending the timer. So that's another feature which the more expensive high-end presses hasn't got. Well, just like we did in my other review on the 15x15 Galaxy heat press, I've also got my infrared temperature probe, and we'll be testing the temperature across the whole of the actual planturn as well. Now the beauty of this is as well, although it's a 16x20 press, they're actually using the same wattage to heat up this this heat plate as the same as the 15x15. So technically speaking, it's not actually costing you any more money to keep this thing on for quite a long period of time. It's using exactly the same wattage as the 15x15. What it also benefits is on the back of it as well, as I've mentioned before, just like the Galaxy 15x15, you've also got the over circuit protection reset button as well if it does pop out. That is over and above just having your normal fuse plug. So that's another benefit as well, which this one is actually fitted with as well. And just like the other Galaxy, although it's got the improved chassis with no welds, it still maintains that slot underneath for you to actually slide your garments right the way through. So that's another great addition as well, exactly the same as the other Galaxy range. So whilst this is coming up to temperature, let me just tell you how the Galaxy has been performing over the last few weeks since I've been using it. It's outperformed the, as I said to you, the Stahl Hotronix which I was using, so we're very pleased with it, bearing in mind we've stuck to the same brand for the last 10 years. So we'll just let this come up to temperature now, and I'll see you again in a minute. Well, on the display now, we're up to 100 degrees, so let's just see what this press is doing on the heat plate. And the way we do that basically is take temperature readings at given points all over the heat press and see how that compares. So right in the middle, we've got 107 degrees. Right on the edge there, on the top corner, we've got 112 degrees. This corner, again, we've got 112.9 degrees. The bottom corner at the back there, we've got 114 degrees. And there on the last corner, again, we've got 114.4 degrees. Now, basically, as I said to you, this is using the same heating element as we've got in the 15x15 plate. Now, this is a 16x20, so it's a larger plate, which will mean that it's using the same amount of electricity, but we've still got what we require for a proper heat pressing business is a plate that completely heats up along its whole perimeter. As I said to you, when you're dealing with cheap inferior heat presses, what you will find is in the center, for example, you'll get a good reading, let's say for example 114, and I've even had them in the past where we've taken the readings in the center and they've been up to 190 degrees, and when we've actually taken the readings around the perimeter of the press, they've been down to as low as 60 degrees C. So all I'm saying to you is that the essential part of any heat press is even heat coverage across that heat platen, and that's what we've got with this Galaxy range. The other one, the Galaxy 1515, performed exactly the same as this one so far, and this is what the benchmark heat presses have always had over the low-end presses that you tend to find, and that is complete coverage on the heat platen of heat all the way in a uniform pattern, and that will make or break your t-shirt business if you get that wrong. So far, you're guaranteed it with these presses, but we're going to press a vinyl in a minute and we'll see just how it does at pressing vinyls. Right, as you can see there, we're up to 161 degrees now. Right, let's just see what the temperature reads now. We've got 156 in the centre. We've got 159 there. We've got 156 there. We've got 157 there. And the final one, again, we've got 156 there. So basically, everything across there is totally even, and that's really what we want. Right, so let's go over and have a look at our t-shirt, which we're going to just get some vinyl prepared to put on one of our t-shirts. Right, okay, then those of you who saw my 15x15 Galaxy heat press tutorial would have seen me actually press this t-shirt. And as you can probably see, on the front there we had a range of different vinyls there, and on the back there we put again a transfer paper for dark vinyls and another already shiny graphic on the back there as well. Now this one hasn't been through the wash, but in one of my previous videos I actually did this one, which is a very similar one. The writing's in a different order, but this one's actually been through the wash now, and as you can probably see, the heat press on the vinyls is absolutely fantastic. I don't know if you can actually get close enough to see that. There you go, absolutely fantastic. There's no sign of any peeling or cracking whatsoever. So obviously we can only do this because we've got good heat coverage across the whole of the platen. So that was an improvement. On this one, what we're going to do, let's put that to one side. We're just going to apply some vinyl onto the back of this t-shirt, and all I'll do now is actually place this on here, and we'll press this item on the 16x20. So I'm just going to place this now onto the garment. Bear with me on this. So I've got the one word to go into this one, which is going to be the word tube, but I can't do that yet because I've got to peel the backing paper off. So let's take this over to the heat press now, and then we can press this. Right, well, we're just going to thread this underneath now because we don't really need to heat up the other transfer vinyls. Right, so we've just threaded this on. We've made sure everything's laying flat, and all we've got to do then literally is just push the tray under. Get our cover sheet, lay that over the top of the garment, and literally pressed for our 20 seconds. So technically speaking now, I could be off doing something else or preparing another t-shirt. It's that simple, where we haven't got to worry about, like with the Stahl, where it's going to jump up and nearly leap off the table. Hopefully this should be a nice smooth action, and then we should be fine. There we go, a lovely smooth action there. So I'm just going to remove that. Now this is a cold peel product, this one, so I'm just going to let that cool off for just a few seconds before I peel it off. Just waving that about will probably be enough. There you go. So then I'll just remove the back into the vinyl. So all I've basically got to do now is to get my word tube and put that on there. So let me go and get that. So all I'll do now is place this in the correct location. Yes, I'm happy with that. And all I'll do now is again just press that again for the 15 seconds by covering up everything this time again and dropping it down, and we should be doing the same. Now we're pressing this again to medium to heavy pressure for 15 seconds, exactly the same. You can only really layer vinyls if they're both cold peel products. You can't layer a warm over a cold, for example, it won't work. There we go, that's fantastic. So let's take this off now. Now we'll take it off of there. I'm going to turn the heat press off now, we don't need that on any longer. So I'm going to pull that off, and we'll take it back over to our workstation and we'll peel that off. Right, okay then, let's pull this off and see what we're left with. Well, there we go. There's our, as seen on YouTube, sticker there. Fantastic, absolutely lovely. On the back of our other vinyls, which we did on the other Galaxy heat press. And I'm sure you'd agree, that using the Galaxy Heat Press has actually proved to be a real benefit to us in our business. So we no longer use the Stahl Hotronix now. We was using the 15x15 Galaxy, and we've now upgraded to the Galaxy Auto Slide. So hope you enjoyed this tutorial. There you go. Don't forget, if you're going into the t-shirt printing business, you need a press that is going to deliver, and these Dino Galaxy presses seem to be doing that. Thanks very much. Bye for now.